Hi everyone, Mon here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for all being here and catching my videos. Gave it a big break for a while and sort of the algorithm slowed right down. That's why there's not many people watching. But I'm not a big channel anyway, which is a good thing at the moment because the people and astrologers that I catch up with on YouTube, a lot of them are getting their channels not hacked, copied by somebody else. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. And that's only because it's such a small channel, which isn't a reference to my skills and abilities, everyone. So I've been studying astrology 43 years and numerology as well. And I'm a Capricorn, so, slow and steady. And I'm not a big noter. So, I know I'm terrible at marketing, but that's all up to the divine because I can't do everything. And I sort of feed myself as a healer, hands-on healer, and that takes a lot of energy out of me. So I'm sort of only able to make 2 videos on this channel and 1 on my new channel, which I'll put into the description box. So if you can like the video, pop a comment in, even if it's just a love heart, that's what moves the algorithms along, people. So, if you think I give valuable information, please help me, Otherwise, I'm giving a lot of energy here, and if there's no reciprocity, then that's when I give up sometimes. I just go, oh, who cares, but I do have some very valued followers here that really do like my style. So I show up for them, really, and the clients that I've been able to do consultations with and guide, that I'm sure they watch as well. But your help, if you know anything about YouTube and algorithms, I need your help. Yeah, I don't earn any money off Google, and when you're giving, I'm really realizing that something's got to come back. Otherwise, why bother? I would be quite happy to just live in my peace and serenity, and I've done my work. So, to be able to not freak out at anything anymore, and I don't have any fear of death. So, not much can hurt me in this life at all. Nothing can hurt me. I don't have family. I've had to let them go. Lots of things. And I'm probably saying all of this because the sun is squaring Pluto today. The sun in Taurus, security, finances, squaring Pluto and Uranus, which is, the collective. People, help me here. I have a 7th house Aquarius, so it's all about partnerships. Yeah. So I really go on about liking my videos and all that sort of business. But, I know why I give up on this channel, which I started a few years ago, and it's because I just feel like, well, why bother? There's that many astrologers online. Why bother? You know what I mean? I'd be quite happy just to rest and meditate and do my thing. But with the North Node in Gemini, I'm meant to be communicating, okay? But, let's just see how we go. So we have a big week coming up. There's no doubt about that. I have already had to process the full moon in Scorpio, which isn't until next weekend. So we're not going to talk too much about that full moon, but Thursday, I was grabbed by that full moon, and I know why. It was about overindulgence for me. That's how I know I was grabbed, because this full moon doesn't have too many hard aspects. But for me, the full moon, the moon will be at 11 degrees Scorpio, and the sun is at 11 degrees Taurus, and I have an 11 degrees Aquarius Venus. So on that full moon, Venus will also be in Gemini, opposing exact 9 degrees my natal moon. So there's a lot of energy that I'm feeling for this next week personally. Okay, but when we're dealing with Taurus and Scorpio, they're strong hitters emotionally as a Scorpio, and as a fixed, grounded sign, Taurus is very, stubborn energetically. So, with Pluto, 5 degrees of Aquarius, this energy is sort of going to affect the fixed signs, who are already affected because Pluto is in Aquarius. So, that's Leo opposing that Pluto and Taurus and Scorpio squaring that Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. But anyway, Thursday we had Venus conjunct Uranus. Okay. And that was in the very, very last degrees. So if you have been afflicted, I'll say afflicted as opposed to afflicted by Uranus transiting Taurus, which is the fixed signs, squares in an opposition to the Scorpio from Uranus transiting Taurus for the last 7 years, then you may have felt that Venus conjunct Uranus right before Uranus ingressed into Gemini. So Venus, was holding hands with Uranus, guiding Uranus into Venus's fellow air sign, Gemini. And I'm saying Venus ruling Libra, okay? And Venus also rules Taurus. So Venus was a very apt planet to hold hands with Uranus as Uranus ingressed into Gemini. So we have Uranus in Gemini, okay? Actually, it's just happened. That's today. It's Sunday here in Australia. I'm sorry I'm a day late. But like I said, energetically, I just couldn't bring it to you yesterday. My cup had overflowed, giving out a lot of hands-on energy to my clients in the last week with healing. So Uranus is in Gemini, everybody, and I'm making a video tomorrow. So if you're watching this, come back to the channel tomorrow. I'm just going to be talking about Uranus in Gemini, and it's a very important transit for everybody, okay? This is big time energy. It's here for a reason. It's here for the evolution of humanity and the changes that humanity will be undertaking to evolve as a collective, all right? Otherwise, God knows where we're all going to end up. If you're looking outside into the news and what is going on in world affairs, which I don't do too much of, thank God. Right, so Uranus today at 10:52 a.m. Australian Sydney time. So it's past that. I know it's about 11:20 or something as I'm making this video a.m. Right, Uranus in Gemini. And I can tell because I've just been to yin yoga and my mind was a little busier than normal, okay? I go to yin yoga every Sunday. I love it. I wish I would have found it when I had all those Pluto transits. So fixed signs, if you're needing something to help you to release the ancestral energy, the woundings, the shadows, all of that we've, held down, yin yoga, fabulous, okay? I actually went to the gym and used to do muscle work, but I wish I would have known about yin yoga and how beneficial that is for releasing the shadow energy, the wounding, the ancestral DNA energy that's stored in the fascia of the body, all right? So, yes, Uranus has ingressed into Gemini, but this morning very early here, and for you guys, 6 hours, 7 hours ago, the sun squared Pluto. All right. Now that's a big transit, okay? Big transit because Pluto in Uranus, the sun in Taurus. We've just had Uranus moving out of Taurus. So for the fixed signs, right, if you're feeling uneasy this next week for the fixed signs may be a little bit uncomfortable, all right, because of that sun square Pluto early this morning, plus the full moon at the end of next week that we will discuss next week. So fixed signs, it's okay. You know what's going on. Therefore, double up on the self-care, right? Whenever we've got Pluto around us, it is requiring us to be empowered or to be shown where we're giving our power away. And number one antidote of Pluto energy for fixed signs is self-care, self-love, right? And in that, you'll know where your power is going or whether your power is within. Now, the sun is sextiling the nodes today. Sun in Taurus, sextiling North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. So that's a lovely little bit of energy to soften that Sun square Pluto. All right. So that's really fixed signs, but we've all got fixed signs in our charts. It'll be depending on what planets you have and whether they're on angular angles, okay, like first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house, okay, because that works a little bit differently. So tomorrow, Monday, here in Australia, early in the morning here, so it'll be Sunday for you guys, Northern Hemisphere, we have Venus in Gemini, sextiling Neptune in Aries. So Neptune's had its big song and dance when it entered Aries, and then Saturn came along and they conjunct. So Venus is just looking back at Neptune. I haven't forgotten you, because Venus is the higher octave of Neptune. So this week or today, if you're feeling uncomfortable, Venus, self-care, self-worth, self-love, right? And also love in relationships, okay? In relationships. Neptune in Aries, right? Looking after the self, yes? So there's a soft little energy coming for us. Do a little bit of a meditation. Venus, self-love, self-care, Neptune. Meditating in Aries for the self, for the balance of the self, for the grounding of the self, for the care of the self. So there's nothing here on Tuesday. The sun is sextiling the nodes, okay, still, because the nodes, there's the true node, and it can happen over a couple of days. So the nodes are actually 6 to 7 degrees, all right? And they conjunct, and then there's a little retrograde, but just know that energy is in place. Sun sextiling the nodes. Sun in Taurus. So, the sun is coming along. Mars, when Mars gets to Taurus, there'll be a few activations. It's currently in Aries, Mars. So it is actually activating all of those points when we had all of the stellium in Aries, and then Mars will come along into Taurus and activate the point today, the 6 to 7 degrees where the north nodes are, where the north and the south node are, okay, and the sun sextiling those. So that takes us through to Tuesday here. Early in the morning, Wednesday, which is Tuesday, Northern Hemisphere time, we've got Venus squaring Pluto. Right. Trining. I knew that felt weird. Venus in Gemini will trine Pluto in Aquarius. I was looking at the triangle, knowing that I'd said the wrong thing, but couldn't understand it. So yes, Venus in Gemini trining Pluto. 2:40 a.m. Wednesday, early morning here, and it's at 5 degrees and 30 minutes. Now, Pluto's going to be stationing and retrograding soon, so Venus is touching that point, right, before Pluto retrogrades. So Venus will come along in its next cycle in Aquarius in a year and a bit, and it'll activate that 5 degrees, 30 minutes, and Pluto will get back to that 5 degrees, 30 minutes after it's done its little retrograde back to 2 to 3 degrees. So we're still, we've still got energy, we've got planets and activations over all of these stellium that we've had in Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and then Aries, okay? we've had, the last 6 months have been very intense, if you haven't noticed. Now, on Wednesday in the morning, this will be early morning for the Northern Hemisphere Wednesday, we have Venus square the nodes. Venus in Gemini, squaring the nodes in Pisces and Virgo. And Thursday, that will continue. That'll continue at the 7 degrees, 6 to 7 degrees, Venus squaring those nodes. And then, we'll have Uranus squaring those nodes, but not yet, okay, not yet. Now, this is really important for the people that have got mutable energy. Well, we've all got mutable energies, but the people that have got stelliums or Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury in the mutable signs. And the mutable signs are Gemini, Sag, Pisces, and Virgo. Right? Now that Uranus is in Gemini, it is going to be squaring Pisces and Virgo. And in my mind, it'll be the Virgo placements that are going to feel the effect because the South Node's there, see, in Virgo, right? So there's going to be, with Uranus there, the shake-up. What can we let go of in the Virgo energies that we're holding on to that isn't serving us? And this would be what will be happening for 7 years, all right? Now, as far as the Pisces goes, having Uranus, see, I'm already talking about tomorrow's video. So I don't want to confuse you. We're just doing the astrological energies this week. But if you can see that Uranus headed into Gemini has got lots of action in the first year or so, okay? Lots of activations going on. And then Mars will be coming into Gemini after Taurus, right? So the energy, even though people go, oh, April was the worst month, well, what is worse and what is good? Everybody's chart is so different that, what could be lovely for you one day is like me last Thursday. Whoa, I really got grabbed by Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus in that last degree. Financially, I got grabbed. Venus, and now this full moon coming, it's the energy's still extending. So keep an eye on your chart, on the degrees, and where you're at. At the time of these transits. So Venus squaring the nodes, okay, that's Wednesday and Thursday in the 7 degrees mark. Venus in Gemini squaring the north and south nodes. Now, we've had those nodes there for a while, so it's not new to us, that energy, okay? But with Venus, it's about self-care, self-love, or it's about relationships, or it's about money. Okay, so, when it comes to Pisces isn't such a money planet. Virgo can be because it's a workaholic energy. So these energies, know these energies, and know, how, when, I'm here to tell you that you can, push into self-care when these narky energies are around for you. And because it is narky. I mean, I'm a 66 born and born with Pluto conjunct Uranus in the second house of money. And we got Chiron and Saturn opposing when I was born. So that little mid-60s group, we really feel this stuff. Really, really feel this stuff. Apart from all the shadow work that we've had to do. There was no counselling and all of that back in the day when we needed those counsellors. So mid-60s, we're going to have Uranus square Uranus, our natal Uranus. So these energies with the nodes are important for those mid-60s born, and also for the later group with the Saturn in Pisces. We've just had Saturn in Pisces. So we're still a little sensitive to all of this energy that we've had in the last few years, mid-60s, and anyone with stelliums in the mutable signs. Okay. So Friday, I'll be back next Saturday, okay, Friday, which is the first here in Australia. Venus sextiles Saturn, Okay, so Venus from Gemini will sextile Saturn in Aries. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Saturn ruled. There's a bit of a soft spot for Capricorns. In Aries, that's Saturn in Aries, and that'll be around for a couple of days, that energy. It's at 9 degrees, 14 minutes, that Venus, and very close to that full moon. Okay, but it's a sextile, so it's looking for ways to fix things, okay? It's looking for that, okay, we'll do this and everything will be all right. The same day, Mercury conjuncts Chiron at 27 degrees, 33 minutes. Chiron's been in Aries for a long, long time. And Chiron will retrograde back again in Aries and then full forward to clean up the mess in Taurus then. So Chiron will then be ingressing into Taurus. I haven't got the dates for that, but Chiron will be coming along, and any messy business that Uranus left. And for, those who have woundings in that Taurus energy of security, that'll be your time to do that inner healing, wounded healer work. All right. And especially you'll have your Chiron return if you're around 50 years of age, 49 at the moment. All right. So Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries. We're still working on the self, right? It's all about us. I know what's going on out there in the world, brings us into that collective feeling. But as I will always bang on about, it's the individuation of the Pluto in Aquarius. Our individuation helps the collective, the microcosm, the macrocosm. Okay? That's what it's all about. You do you, and all the rest, you have no control over that. You have no control over what others are doing. Do you raise your frequency to add to the collective's energy? And if we all did that, wow, what a different planet we'd be living on. What a different society we would have going for ourselves. Because a lot of us are a little bit tired of the society, the patriarchy, all the corruptness, the whole systems are sick and crumbling, and it's exhausting. So just do you and focus on you. There's nothing you can do out there, all right, except do you. Okay. So I am sorry again that I didn't make this video yesterday. I will be making one tomorrow. It's a public holiday here in Australia. I've only got one hands-on healing client. So, because it really takes a lot out of me, that work. And it's just had a big expansion. When Uranus in Taurus was at 27 degrees, it sextiled my natal sun in Capricorn. No, trined, sorry, my natal sun in Capricorn. So 20 to 30 clients just came to me, and I'm doing lymph drainage, and while I'm doing that, I'm doing Reiki, but I don't tell them that. But they feel so good, and they love me, and they keep returning. So, if you're a healer out there, you don't have to tell the mainstream what you're doing. You just do it, and they feel good. All right, you know that. Because, it's still woo-hoo for a lot of the mainstream out there. And, your intention is to heal, and that's what we do. So we're finishing the week next Friday with the sun in Taurus, the moon in Scorpio, and Mercury will be in late Aries. Okay, so Mercury will be moving back to its own sign soon, Gemini. Venus is already in Gemini, the twins. Mars is behind the rest of the personal planets, activating everything that's been going on in the last few months. Jupiter still in Cancer. Around the mid-year, end of June, Jupiter will move into Leo. Yay, says me, with a Leo rising. Oh, dear, I'm looking forward to that. Saturn in Aries. You know, as a Capricorn, I don't mind Saturn in Aries. I actually quite like Saturn in Aries because it gives me that get up and go energy that I've been lacking after all that Pluto conjuncting to Capricorn, my natal sun. Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, the nodes, north nodes in Pisces, south nodes in Virgo, and Chiron is in late Aries. All right. So there's nothing, you know, there's a lot of astrologers, especially these young ones that, you know, oh wow, the world's never been the same. Oh wow, we've never seen it. That's all just BS, guys. It really, really is. You know, yes, these are big energies, but they don't need all of this catastrophizing and I don't know. I'd hate to be learning astrology online today because wow, it is so confusing, right? Because people don't know the energy, they know the textbook, they know the structure, but they don't know the energy, you know, and it's sad because I really want astrology to be a useful tool for personal development. But if it's just going to be entertainment, and you know, to me, that's the dark side. You know, having a crack at us, really. You know, but if you're on this channel, you know it's about personal development. Stick with me. You know, I know that I've got to do this sort of work, and I'm so passionate, and I love astrology, and you know, obviously done it in past lives. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked up books when I was 17 before internet, and nobody believed in it. Nobody, you know, I'd carry my books home to my family, and oh wow, did I get not joked about, like really put down, really put down. You know, that's why it's taken me so long. It's taken me decades to be able to teach because I was put down so harshly when I was younger. But I still kept on and was true to my own self. And that's what you have to be with occult scientists. Just you, true to you, true to yourself. You can't go wrong because we're all loved. We're all protected and cared for by our higher self and the divine. All right, my friends, I love you all. Thank you so much. Help the channel out by liking or a comment, and that's just how the algorithms flow. All right, everybody. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Bye.